world of e-commerce can be tricky, and that's why you need the experts to help take you to the next level. This is Delivering E-commerce, and this is Chris Parsons.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Delivering E-commerce. I'm your host, Chris Parsons. Thank you all for joining us. Today, I'm very excited to have Nick Romeo and Peter Bakhit from Pickups. And guys, thank you so much for taking some time this evening to chat with us and our audience.
Thank you so much for having us, Chris.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Pleasure to be on the show.
Yeah, let's have some fun tonight. We'll have the next half hour fly by, and I'm sure we'll run out of time and try to squeeze everything in. But Nick, let's start with you. I would love for you to tell our audience your journey, and then Peter will follow right up with you to do the same thing, okay?
Yeah, no problem. Thanks, Chris. Listen, I'm an entrepreneur at heart. I got into the entrepreneur spirit at the age of 18, but that kind of came from the grassroots of my father. He was a big developer here in Toronto. And back in the 89, 90s, on that big recession that he had, I kind of witnessed as a kid losing everything. And I kind of saw firsthand at a young age how important it is to actually control your destiny. So that kind of led me down this road to entrepreneurship and to kind of like build back what my father had. So my first company I started, I was at the age of 18, was in the CPG world, was food distribution and brands. So I've worked with retailers such as Loblaws, Metro, Sobeys, and distributed those brands across those different banners. And along that journey, that kind of taught me how to kind of bring something to life that was sense of a vision. It was sort of like creating a baby more than anything. And it was kind of exciting to just see like, hey, you know what, if you truly have an idea and you truly believe in something, you can really make it happen. So I did that at a young age. It wasn't easy. We went through our trials and tribulations. Sold that back in 2010, and that led me on to explore different opportunities in the entrepreneurial space, such as construction technologies, different types of app technologies, which kind of led me on this journey to come and start Pickups after. And what I've realized is that throughout the journey of going through the different types of business ventures or meeting different people, I could just speak on my own personal experience. It was my deep inner why that led me to make it through when those tribulations or different types of obstacles kind of came to fruition, because entrepreneurship is a lonely road, right? You've got a lot of people who will come down to, kind of downplay an idea or downplay your potential, but you got to kind of have thick skin and surround yourself with good mentors to get to the next stage. So for me, it was a journey of just kind of looking at different types of surrounding yourself with the right people, and then going down the road of where we are today, which has led me to Pickups. That's
great. And Nick, it's funny you talk about the entrepreneurship, and I've done a number of I've done consulting, I've done hockey socks, which is a cut resistant sock. And what I find really interesting about the entrepreneur piece is you've got this network on social media of friends and family. And, when it comes to taking a picture of their latest meal or a Tim Hortons coffee cup or a Starbucks meal, they do that all day long. But to share in their family or your journey and post something about Pickups, it's like pulling teeth to 100%. Get a family member to support your idea and business. The naysayer thing is always, you can't do it. It's going to be too much work, too much effort. Good on you. Hopefully some family members will watch this and start tweeting and doing everything else on social media to support you, because it's one of my most pain points in entrepreneurship. You work so hard and you're just like, well, you're going to post a picture of somebody's meal, but you won't tell everyone that I'm delivering e-commerce, for example. Like, I've got maybe 30 people in LinkedIn that I can count out of my 15,000 connections to share my posts on a regular basis. And I'm grateful for them, but I've got 15,000 connections. Where's that love?
Yeah. And you're right. And it's 100% right. And you realize that. So that's why I say, entrepreneurship is not for everybody. It is a destiny. It is a calling. You can learn it, but it's definitely no different than, a talented, sports player where they just kind of are born with it and you go down that journey, right?
That's great. And Peter, let's get to you, not leave you out of this conversation.
I started off in the manufacturing industry about 18 years ago. bringing in electronic components, metal CNC, and plastic injection molding from China, helping a lot of the contract manufacturers, OEMs with a lot of the products that you're using today and you see today. And I've learned a lot from a lot of the older guys that have been in my industry to help me, because I'm a younger guy, to show me the way how to be an entrepreneur, how to be a businessman. And actually, Nick is my neighbor, and we came up with this type of business because we're in the garage just chilling, and this idea came to us. And, you know, I felt like my business has plateaued to where we are today. And I feel like if you plateau, you have to go and do something else, because, you know, life changes and industries change. And I think this is the new way of life that you have to get into. Apps, the new e-commerce, and the new way to do business. And I'm thankful because Nick is a big mentor to me, and he's helped me go along and learn more into the entrepreneurship, into the world, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big leap of faith, right? Like, how many businesses, I don't know if you saw that famous photo where there's a number of businesses like Amazon and Microsoft, and they're all created in a garage. That's where they started. And it's because you're bootstrapped. You're just taking it on as you're trying to work a full-time job and do these things at the same time and bring them to life. So the best ideas are in the garage over
100%.
here.
100%.
So that's great that you guys have bonded over this. Now let's get into pickups and let's explain, like, it's a simple concept, so it shouldn't take a deep dive into this, but ultimately let's break it down on the benefits of pickups. And I've downloaded the app, and so many times I've been in that situation where I don't want to call a friend. Who wants to be that guy that's sitting there calling a buddy to say, can I borrow your truck because this barbecue won't fit in the back of my Sonata car? I call it Sonata car. It's I joke. Those Honda Sonatas. I struggled with them for so long. They were great. So I came up with this name of Sonata car. And anyways,
I'll let you go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, no problem. So like Peter said, it was a garage band idea. I mean, I had just exited a company back in 2018, and it was in the space of on-demand and crowdsource. And Peter comes from a family of logistics, and he was looking for a different way to distress the space. So we just started talking like casually, right? But then we both had new kids. Like Peter had I think Sam at the time was Pete. I don't remember how old he was, right? And I just had Christian, right? So we had two new boys into the family, and we were running into situations like, what if you had to go to the store and pick us up? It's 9:00. We don't feel like going, right? Like we're tired, right? And then there were situations where, hey, if you go to a Home Depot, or you go to a local retailer or a home hardware, what do you do if you purchase something and it doesn't fit? You got to call up the friend or rent a car. So this led us on this journey to put pickups together. And pretty much what it was is we originally built this technology to fit any type of item size. But what we realized is when we built this technology for the item size, we really truly became an on-demand delivery app. There's no reason that if we could deliver a barbecue, there's no reason why we can't deliver a parcel or a document, right? Or food for that matter. So we became an everything on-demand delivery app. And that's been our focus now, trying to just get that out there.
Yeah. So when you talk about the on-demand delivery app, you touch on a number of different users, right? So it's
correct.
The do-it-yourselfer that may want to pick up some tools for a backyard project. Mm-hmm. You can go and you mentioned food, but there's also you can do people to people, right? Like what was interesting to me is I've sold a ton of stuff off of social media, whether it be Kijiji or marketplaces. I'm not comfortable visiting with half of those people. Once the deal is signed, once they tell me they'll give me the money, let somebody else deliver that product. I don't need to be there having them go question the scratch that is on now that they see on the product. Just have someone else deliver. So I could leverage you guys technically for that as well, because you don't care. It's agnostic. I'm just going to go onto your app, put the delivery location or the pickup location, and we're done.
Correct. And actually, to touch on that, our one of our number one verticals is the marketplace, right? And the peer-to-peer. So we have found through our internal studies that most of the transactions that end up falling through in the peer-to-peer marketplace are because people don't just have the vehicle or they don't want to go to that destination. So we've definitely been a use case for that type of problem, for sure.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And so let's talk about the app. People can go. It's on Android and iOS, Apple device as well. So it's an easy download. And then what's the starting journey? They sign up and then what?
So you sign up, you register an account. It's fairly easy. You verify it. Once you're verified and you're into the system, you will see on your first page all your categories. So for example, home furniture and decor, grocery and food, documents, parcel, automotive. You just select your category of choice, put your pickup and drop off details, upload the information that and item details that we're picking up. We also actually have even a cool custom AR feature. So what's important to know is that, remember, we're a pre-pandemic company. So we didn't build this for the pandemic, but it kind of just fell in. So we had a lot of scenarios where if you're shopping in store, what do you do? So let's take an example. You go to like an IKEA, right? And you're there, you don't have a measuring tape. Like, we built an AR feature where on the spot, or even if you're in a retailer, you can actually measure the item through the AR feature and automatically put into the system. So once you put the item details there, you get to a payment page. You put your credit card on file, and as soon as you submit pay, a driver is dispatched on demand, or you can schedule up to 5 days in advance.
Now, the part that I think people will need clarity on is when they go to a retailer's website and they make an online purchase for pickup in store. How do you make sure that you guys have the authority to pick up at that item? I know on our site, we allow for a secondary pickup to identify who that's going to be. Is that the preferred method, or is there another way for people to know when you get to the retail store that you've got the okay from the customer to pick up their item?
So we have the okay from the customer, but it is different for every single retailer, right? So we have some retailers that are doing, like you said yourself, at Home Hardware, where you put the second name, like, hey, there's a second delivery person coming to pick it up. So you would just put in pickups. Or we have found for other retailers, you're just uploading the email ID confirmation that the item is ready for pickup, just showing that is suffice to pick
Even
up
if you put your driver's license. A lot of the places, if you put your driver's license, they know it's for the customer and they're okay with it.
That's good. Yeah. I try to, and we actually have it on our website where we want people to show their driver's license. I'm trying to get away from that. I think it's too personal of a piece of ID to be sharing with people, which is great. We do it, and a lot of retailers do that. I just think most retailers now have in there a secondary pickup person, and the people should be proactive, make sure they put in the pickups is going to do it, then go ahead and secure the pickup with you guys. And I think it would be easier for that customer and the retailer just to have that transparency.
Yeah, you need on the retailer's end, everyone now I think has come to realize, like, hey, this is here to stay. Curbside pickup and pickup, right? Before it was in store, pre-pandemic. And now everyone's got an email notification. So when your item is ready for pickup, that document, that email, whatever it is that retailer is using, is suffice to go pick up the item. We haven't had any issues.
99% of the time, the way Nick just said it, businesses are okay with it.
That's great. That's great. And how are you getting the word out about pickups? Because, I mean, obviously I'm in the space. So I see you guys on LinkedIn. I've heard of you. You guys have wanted to speak with us and see if we can do business together, which I really appreciate. And when we're mature enough, we'll get there. But ultimately, how are you promoting pickups in the market?
So right now, it's all through digital. We have a digital strategy. It's all online. So through your social platforms, through Facebook, Instagram, Google. And we're starting right now to put out a sales force to go out there and actually start knocking on relationships and B2B sales as well.
That's great. And what would you say the volume of business from a percentage basis is? Is it more on the home decor? Is it in the food? Where do you guys see the strength right now?
So one thing I want to actually stress is we're not a food delivery platform. Yeah. We do it, right? So we offer it because, at the same time too, it is an essential service. Mm-hmm. But I would say for our platform, the furniture and home decor or the big ticket items seem to be our number one category. And second is parcels, right? Like just getting anything delivered.
Great. And I guess a question just for fun, what's the weirdest item you guys have picked up?
I don't want to say it because you're going to be very kind of thing. Actually, a guy in Windsor wanted some adult toys delivered. Yeah. That was a very big weird one for us. So he wanted to deliver from Windsor to London. I was just like,
yeah, listen, we're agnostic. I mean, it's just we're just a delivery service.
Right? Here's another parcel.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great. So when a customer's engaged with you, they signed up, they've used you, what's your repeat usability like? Is it, do you find that customers, once they've had that great experience, they've earned that trust, now all of a sudden, you mentioned as a dad, I probably would have been using this every week because I didn't want to go anywhere. I was tired. I just worked 11, 12 hours in the day, got home. Now you're trying to be that caring and parent and give your spouse a rest. And then all of a sudden you've got XYZ tasks to go do. Forget it. I would rather get somebody to go and grab that stuff for me.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we have people using it, once a month, for example, like, on a home furniture, depending if it's a do-it-yourself project or you just purchased something, right? But I would say at the very least, we've got users using it, once, twice a month for sure in our system.
Great. And then from a usability standpoint, and then the customer's using it once or twice, but what's the benefit from a retailer other than convenience? And from a customer standpoint, so 2 questions, and both of you can answer these, is what's the model like? What's the cost model for the customer, and what's the cost to a retailer for this?
So yeah, for sure. So one thing, if we just talk on, let's say, the big ticket items, for you right now to get something delivered on demand, if it was a couch, if it was an end table, if it was a barbecue, it'd be very difficult for you to just call up somebody and have that to be cost effective. So we have found that our costing model, because we don't have anybody that's somewhat in-house, we're just a marketplace in a sense, connecting a driver to a user, we're very, very competitive. So an example, I mean, for you to get just a simple thing like a couch or end table delivered would cost you over $90, $100, right? With us, you'd be looking at, depending on location, anywhere from $40 to $60, right? On demand within an hour.
And I think that's the important piece, right? Like $40 to $60, you can't even go and rent a vehicle. You cannot go rent a vehicle for that. And most people have to rent a vehicle to pick up
gas, everything that you have to put into it is so expensive.
Right.
And from the retailer side, I think you touched on something here, and this is what's important for the retailers to realize is in the market, in the space that we're in delivery, there's a lot of people who have come to the last mile now, right? Ever since even pandemic. But one thing you've got to differentiate is you've got your marketplace apps and then you've got delivery apps. So we solely focus on delivery and we let the retailer do what they need to do, which is actually sell to the customer, right? And provide those products. A lot of retailers, the benefit of using a company like ours or a business model like ours is you're actually not losing the user to that third-party shopping app. And you have to realize that at some point, you're actually giving up your users to the platform.
Right.
And that's something to consider down the road, right? You take a company like Amazon, for example, everyone's, they've got that marketplace. There's a lot of small businesses that don't exist anymore, right? Because Amazon's here, right? So I think for us, it was like, hey, help out the local companies, help out the local businesses grow, and we'll cover the delivery leg. But the advantage for the retailer is, hey, you control the shopping experience. We just provide you that delivery leg that was so hard to figure out this last few decades, right? To get
the best is you don't even have to, like, if somebody's a business, they really don't have to go get delivery trucks. They don't have to pay for gas. They don't have to pay for a delivery driver. With us, we do that all for you. So
yeah, a lot of retailers, Peter, will, to that point, leverage their staff to have them go and deliver it. And there's insurance risks behind that. There's time that you lose that associate out on the road versus them, working at the store and merchandising the store, fulfilling it with items. So I think, the leveraging it as a retailer is just a no-brainer when it comes to, if you don't have the fleet already, or even if you do, this is a complimentary service as well when things go crazy and you got a busy weekend. What I also think selfishly, as I look at this business for myself, is when I'm in the middle of a project, working on a fence or a deck in the backyard, and you don't have the items that you need, you don't have to pack up your project. You don't have to put everything away, get in the car, go and get a replacement blade for the saw or whatever. You can continue doing work and just place that order online and have someone bring it to you. So you don't skip a beat in getting your project complete. And everyone knows that honeydew list gets really long. So the more time you have to fulfill that list or complete that list, the better. Let's talk about innovation. So are you looking, so right now from a overall standpoint, you're leveraging people that are already delivering for the most part, right? A community of drivers tell me more, Nick, about notice the reaction there is great. How do you acquire, I guess the question is, how do you acquire your drivers and vet them?
So we're crowdsourced. So we leverage the public. You don't have to be a delivery driver. You just have to have a vehicle and be able to be plugged into the platform. So for us, on a crowdsourced technology or crowdsourced model, we vet every driver that comes into the business, into the platform. So we do a criminal background check, we do an enhancement check, we do a driver's license verification. It takes about 48, 72 hours for you to get approved into the system, ensuring that all your checks have been met. But you could simply, it's a side gig economy that we leverage, right? Now we have unprofessional, we have professional couriers that come into the system. But I think what the unique thing is that, we leverage people on their way even to, could be to their job or to someone else. And that's the key here for the crowdsource is that, a lot of traditional courier companies are leveraging fleets or scheduled delivery. But how are you truly going to fulfill 1 hour last mile, right? You can't, because you don't know when that order is coming in. So for us with the public, we leverage the public as well as professional couriers. But we have a standard and a model where these drivers that continuously drive for us, they end up developing that courier experience, right? So they can probably go into a field that they never even imagined before.
So that's a great distinction that you're crowdsourcing, you're leveraging that gig economy and allowing any individual that wants to sign up after vetting to go and do this. But there's nothing stopping them. Like I have an Uber driver that is also a Lyft driver. Mm-hmm. It's maximizing their time, whether they're using pickups or maybe multitasking with other companies. So you're good with that. Like they could be doing essentially skip the dishes and pickups at the same time to maximize their income, which is great because as long as they're in the community and they're traveling around and delivering and they're meeting their SLAs, their service level agreements with you guys, then perfect. So
even some delivery guys that work for us right now, they're not busy with their company. They come and they work on, they start doing our pickups. They go pick up couches for us. They go pick up barbecues for us. It's a side gig economy, and they really enjoy doing what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you a quick story. I mean, it was the most bizarre thing in my life, which I had a best friend, and he was in high school, and we hadn't seen each other for 30 years. And ultimately, I was having dinner downtown Toronto, and I got an Uber driver. We had two Uber drivers because there was a number of us. The one group got into one vehicle, I got into my vehicle, and the Uber driver was my best friend from school. I knew from his profile that wasn't his job. Like it was just, he said it was easier to hang around downtown than fight the traffic getting out of downtown to go back to his community. And while he was waiting, instead of just sitting at some restaurant wasting money, he was earning an income for an extra 2 to 3 hours doing Uber pickups. So this would be another opportunity for him to be delivering in that marketplace.
100%. And to touch on that, it's we have a vision and we have a mission. And you look at what we've done is we've kind of innovated the logistics space by leveraging a crowdsourced type of business model. And our goal is it's very different when you're delivering food and when you're delivering a parcel or furniture item. So your earnings are different. Right. So, I mean, we've got drivers, equivalent to other platforms that'll make more, they'd have to do 3 rides versus 1 pickups ride to make the equivalency. Right. So the vision of pickups is, at some point to definitely, if they choose to, it's not side gig no more.
You should tell them about Peter Lutznick.
Yeah. So like simple thing, we have some people with disabilities, right? And sometimes it's not that easy to go out there into the workforce, to get those jobs. But we had one guy who had a hearing issue, and we developed a notification so that when actually dispatches come into your driver app, you would actually hear the sound. And what happened is this individual now had the ability to earn extra income. And actually provide some sort of service where he can kind of just contribute to the local economy, right? And even for himself. So it kind of made that difference.
Love that story. That's great. It's, there's so many people that have what we call disabilities, but ultimately it's just because we haven't created unique ways like that to help them overcome those things. I talk often about my learning disabilities. And if it wasn't for Grammarly, we wouldn't be here today because no one would understand the things that I'm writing.
I use it too. So listen, I use it too. It's a great system.
I think everybody uses it.
Yeah.
Usually I'm the only one that admits it.
I know.
Yeah, we all use it. I think a lot of guys use it. No, but it's true.
One of the areas, guys, I was going was with innovation. So, I talked to companies similar, not quite the same, but similar to the work that Pickups is doing. And I love the concept. But they're already looking at stuff like drone delivery and how that's going to play a role in the future. Where are you guys with that type of innovation, or are you staying out of that realm and just sticking in this lane for now?
So for now, I mean, it's something we've looked at in the future, but I think in the technology world, marketplaces or even just the economy sometimes is just not ready for that, different types of technology. So we're focused on this lane. We're looking at it, but I think for us right now is, we do want to provide work. We didn't build this model to remove the work, so we do want to keep the driver economy busy. So our focus right now is developing user enhancements and experiences and how to make the delivery process easier and better. And that's what we're focused on.
No, it's great. I only asked a question. I know drones is, in theory, a very popular model, but legislation is going to slow that down for many, many years because, you got to take into so many things into consideration, liability issues if a parcel drops from those things and hits someone. So it's in chartered territory that we're about 3 to 5 years out at least. And
easy.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm glad that you're just sticking to this and trying to provide the best service in this one vertical first, which is great. Hey, this has been great. I told you we'd fly by. It's 25 minutes into it already.
It's amazing.
I want to make sure that people have your contact information. I will leave it in the links below as well. But
no problem.
If you guys want to, Peter, let's start with you. If anyone wants to reach out to you guys to get more information about pickups, please, this is the time to give your.
You can come and contact me at peter@pickups.mobi. If you guys need any help with anything, I'm here to help you out. Or you can get me on my Instagram, Senior Bakhit, or on my LinkedIn, Peter Bakhit, and I'm there to help out anybody.
Wonderful. And Nick?
Yeah, same here. You can reach me at nick@pickups.mobi, or you can visit the website, www.pickups.mobi. Go to the Partner With Us page, and then one of our representatives will get back to someone with any inquiries. For sure.
Perfect. So I have a couple more questions. Just we'll maximize the time we have.
Yeah.
Where do you see the industry going? Specifically e-commerce, that omni-channel, and I often refer to the book behind me. I can see it in the corner there. It's Remarkable Retail, and they now have Steve has defined the term of harmonized retailing. And I love that better than omni-channel. Harmonized retailing makes way more sense. And what are you seeing coming out of the pandemic? And obviously, there is this blurred line now because customers are ordering online, not necessarily having shipped to home, but they're ordering online. That's the starting point, either researching or ordering. And then it's going to the store, and they can either continue that journey in store and look for more related items, or they can have a service like you. What are you seeing out there?
I see an ecosystem being built now of a full service now, like where you're going to have this whole ecosystem kind of connect from fulfillment to last mile. I foresee a lot of the retailers now becoming e-tailers. So those traditional brick and mortars actually, investing into now, listen, you know what? There is a last mile leg that we need to fulfill. There is a user expectation. I think there's going to be a lot of more partnerships with companies like us to provide those integrations. And I think the industry is going that way, right? Nobody wants to set up their full-fledged logistics fleet or system or technology, but how do you leverage the different partnerships that are in the space right now? So I actually see this growing even bigger, and I see more e-tailers coming into play.
Great. Peter, are you noticing any other trends?
I honestly think that companies like Amazon and all these different e-tailers that are coming out are going to start trying to eat even more business than for these small businesses. And if small businesses don't have a fast delivery service, they're going to be wiped out altogether, because you have the young generation that honestly wants everything right now. And if they don't get it right now, they'd rather just go off Amazon and get it the next day. You know what I mean? Or in an hour. So this is what I see happening.
I'm old enough to live through the days that Walmart came to Canada, and everyone had the same fear that Walmart was going to wipe out stores in the local communities, that the mom and pop shops. But I can tell you, after being with Walmart, I had the pleasure of working them for about 10 years, 11 years. Walmart actually only made communities stronger. Yeah. And if a mom and pop shop had the the patience and the time to go and be methodical about their thinking and really adapt to what the new norm was going to be, Walmart's coming. That store takes 6 months, 3 months to build. They're coming into your market. You have an opportunity as a mom and pop shop to really up your game
100%.
And challenge yourself. And I think that's where any of the ones that go out of business, and this is not true for all of them, but anyone that does go out of business, they haven't adapted. and they're not putting the energy into adapting, making themselves relevant to their current customer base. And Walmart has a place, don't get me wrong, but if you really, as a mom and pop shop, you have the opportunity to know your customers by name. You have the opportunity to know their family, their needs, and develop that rapport and relationship. And Walmart's not that structure. So I think businesses, when you look at an Amazon's successful because of the Prime package and the breadth and depth of their products. But from a local community, I would rather shop local any day.
Correct. Yep.
But no one is doing anything, or I shouldn't say no one. A lot of those local businesses are not doing anything to stand out. And that's why I turn to Amazon, or that's why I turn to any marketplace at all, is because I can get most of the goods right in my local community, but they're just putting an open sign on their door.
Correct. For sure.
So I was speaking to a business about 3 weeks ago. It's a big business, and he turned me down, and he's like, I told him we can offer you 1 hour delivery all across the GTA. And he told me, I'd rather have the 2-day shipping for my customers. And you know what? I feel like that is going to eat away his business, and they're going to see it kind of mess up their business in the future.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, Peter. I mean, I think sometimes, and I was on the sales side too, going in and trying to sell to different businesses solutions. I think sometimes when you get that no or that type of reaction, you have to go back and think about how to tell that story differently to that person, that individual, because they clearly didn't get the benefit.
Mm-hmm.
I would go back to that person, that individual, in a couple of weeks and just try a different approach with them, because that mentality that their customer is okay waiting 2 weeks, I would challenge them respectfully to do a survey and ask any of their current customers if they had a service that was going to take 2-3 days to deliver versus a brand new option, a potential option of getting it to you same day or within a day. What would they prefer? And that would open his eyes. And I mean, hell, I would even go stand out front of his door and ask every one of his customers as they were exiting the question myself, and go back in and show them the results and say, last time I was here, you said that consumers were okay with 2-3 day shipping. Well, I surveyed your customers respectfully, and this is the results. And he won't be able to dismiss anything that again.
It's true. It's true.
Sure.
Cool. Well, gentlemen, I really appreciate the time. Did I miss anything in this conversation that you think the audience should be aware of? Because I think the app is very simple. I think the logic it's a no-brainer. I mean, I was trying to pick up something from Costco the other day. I can't remember what it was, but I knew it was too big, and I had to call a neighbor down the road, and it took him an hour out of his day to come to Guelph Costco, pick up the product for me, put it in the back of his truck, and then us making sure it was secure and following behind, versus grabbing the app and having someone come and just do this for me. And I didn't have to bug a neighbor and owe him a case of beer.
Yeah, 100%. And just continue on your journey. I think the convenience. Yeah, I think we touched on everything. And at the end of the day, it's really it's a convenience, right? And there's at the moment no really other platform like this that's existing right now for the bigger ticket items, for sure, on demand.
Great. Before I wrap up, I do have one more question that's I meant to ask, and that was, what markets are you playing a role in today? Are you across Canada? Are you localized to the GTA? Where are you existing right now?
So right now we're localized in the GTA, but we have expansion plans across Canada and then US.
Perfect. That's great. That'll be great clarity for anyone reaching out to you. I don't want you to get bombarded from a bunch of the West.
Yeah. We do. We get owners, sometimes right now we get requests a lot from out West. So this is leading us to now expand outside of the GTA, because there is a need for the solution right now in the different markets. So it's something in our foresight in this next quarter.
Wonderful. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate the time tonight.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you so much,
people
Chris.
will reach out to you, and it's been a great pleasure, and all the best.
Thanks, Sam. Take care, guys.
Yep.
You've been listening to Delivering E-Commerce. It's our passion to have on leaders and suppliers in e-commerce from around the globe, setting you and your strategy up for the next level. We hope you've gotten some useful and practical information from the show. Make sure to like, rate, and review, and we'll be back soon. Connect with Chris on LinkedIn at Chris Parsons, on LinkedIn and Spotify at Delivering E-Commerce. or on YouTube at Chris Parsons Delivering E-Commerce. Till next time, this is Delivering E-Commerce.